over a hundred Republicans just 3 weeks ago voted to balance this federal budget, to balance it. And this is during the cries of many on the other side who are criticizing all the spending that went on. And as they were criticizing the spending, they were raising spending by 10 times what had happened under Republican administrations. Not one Democrat voted for that balanced budget amendment that was proposed on the House floor, while many of them turned around and voted for the largest budget in the history of the country. And I say that because, people don't want to hear about the partisan politics. But what many people are being told by this administration, incorrectly, is that there are no alternatives proposed by the other side. They're saying, the Republicans are the party of no. They don't propose any alternatives, which is clearly disingenuous because we've proposed many alternatives. They've been the party not only of no because they've opposed those alternatives, they've been the party of fiscal recklessness, fiscal irresponsibility, of spending amounts of money that literally will double our national debt in just 5 years. And that's what I think has gotten most Americans frustrated now, is that they know what they're doing to take care of their business. They're cutting back, and they're watching this Democratic leadership in Congress and this Democrat administration spending records amounts of money, running up the debt and the deficits at record levels, record levels that we know nobody could sustain. And so I think when people look, they say, this has only been 100 days. We've already today, as we stand here, added 20% to the national debt, money we can't even get back. The stimulus bill alone added almost $1 trillion of new debt, and we're still seeing some of the wasteless, frivolous spending.
If I'd like to jump in just a minute there, there's this transparency promise, that what's going on in Washington, D.C., the public should be able to see it. And you see this kind of transparency promise, and then, when you take a look at what happened, the president first broke the promise on transparency in January, when he signed this legislation, which was it was the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. It was passed on January 27th, and he's since continued the problem with these other state insurance, the S-chip bills. There wasn't 5 days. And the reason I mention this is because when we came to that supposedly stimulus bill, our staffs got that thing at 11:30 at night. And we're supposed to vote on a 1,000-plus page bill the next day. Now, I'm not a speed reader, and my staff doesn't sit around at 11:30 just waiting for some announcement from the Democrat Party. Now, I don't understand the transparency in that situation, but I do understand a little bit because I don't know what $840 or $780 billion is. I started to put it in terms of aircraft carriers because I understood that. I understood that it was more than the war in Iraq for 6 years and the war in Afghanistan added to it for 7 years. I understand it was more than 250 aircraft carriers. We only have 11 of them. The debt service on it was 9 aircraft carriers. And it's all money that we don't have. And so we've got a series, again, going to this 100 days, there's a lot of new records that are being set, particularly in the debt area. But there's other kinds of things that I think that get these people at the Tea Parties upset. One is, have you ever heard of the president firing the president of General Motors? I thought that was kind of I've never seen that before.